Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 horror film A Stranger Among the Living, a film that is written and directed by Christopher Wesley Moore, who also appears in the film, and the film also stars Jake Milton, Meredith Moeller, Victoria Posey, Kenny Bounds, Mandy Meyer and David Wozniak. Now this is a film that focuses on Jake Milton's character Henry, who he works at a school, and there is an incident with one of the students at the school. He posts a threatening message online that he's going to do something at the school and kill some people. The school don't take it seriously and he goes through on his threat, and there's a shooting at school, and following this shooting incident, Henry and someone he's close to start having these strange experiences, and they feel like they're being watched, they feel like they're being followed, and there's a dark aura surrounding them, and as the film progresses things begin to escalate and get out of control. Now that is the best way I can describe what on the surface is quite a complex and dark slow burn of a horror film that on one side of the coin is quite interesting and unique, and on the other side of the coin it's deeply flawed. It's a strange blend, this film, of you get Final Destination vibes crossed with It Follows and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Imagine ingredients from all those three films kind of dropped into a pot and stirred up, and that goes some way to kind of try and explain what's going on in this film, because I can't honestly give you a decent explanation because I'm not sure myself. It's one of those films that leaves you guessing, doesn't give you answers, and is quite frustrating, I suppose, for some. It's a strange film because it's a low budget film, so there are aspects of it that drag the film down because of its low budget. For example, it's got like a cheap soundtrack, and some of the sound effects are poor. There's a stabbing scene for example, and the stabs just sound terrible. They don't sound realistic at all. The dubbing's not brilliant at times, and the lighting is way off at times. It's just some odd lighting choices, and it's just simply too dark at times. A lot of the film is just too dark. Not that it's filmed at night, which it is quite a lot, but the forever walking around dark rooms, or rooms that are lit in blue, or he goes for a meal in a restaurant and it's got this weird glow to it. This restaurant, it's not like natural lighting, and I'm sure it's a creative decision by the director, but it grates after a while. It's too dark, the film, but it's hard to deny that there's something about this film that intrigued me and interested me. There's a lot of great ideas here in this film, that almost too many, because they don't all become realised. There is no explanation really as to what's going on. It's left to your own imagination, I guess, as to what is happening here in regards to the film. So if you're wanting a fairly cut and dry horror film, where when the film ends you've got all your answers and it's a nicely tied up package of a film, you're not going to get that with this film. But what you are going to get is a mishmash of a lot of different ideas put into this film. Some work, a lot don't, and that is the problem with the film. There's almost too much going on here in this film. There's no real cohesive story here. It just kind of blunders along with no real story thread, it needed that. It needed the backbone in the film to maybe for some of these storylines to stick to it, and it didn't really have that. The performances for the most part here did the job. I thought Jake Milton, who played Henry, was fine in the lead role. It was quite a nuanced performance and quite a laid back performance. that you could look at and think that's not a very good acting performance, but if you actually looked under the surface, I think, at what he was trying to portray with his character, I think he does a pretty decent job here. Some of the other roles, not so much. More like the smaller roles in the film, but you've got to work with the budget that you've got, I guess. There's way too many cheap jump scares in the film, and I mean way too many. And this film wants you to jump in those scenes, because as soon as it happens, it's a cheap trick. The music shoots up the volume, and it's mainly just a case of someone touching someone on the shoulder or sticking their head into a car. Really old cheap jump scares, and to be honest, I think the film was better than that. It didn't need those jump scares. But if you're easily spooked, I suppose, by a jump scare, you'll be out of your seat with these jump scares, because they're programmed to do that to you. But it's a slow burn of a film. It does have a very creepy vibe to it. It's just not particularly realised. You're not sure what kind of horror film you're watching. At times it feels like a zombie film. At other times, is it an alien invasion? At other times, is it a ghost story? It's all of them, it feels. So it's a frustrating watch to some degree, but I do like to see horror films, especially low budget horror films, that are trying to do stuff that are different, and this film certainly does that. There's loads of ideas going on here. It does feel a bit different and unique. It just, all the ideas didn't come off, unfortunately. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. That is my review for A Stranger Among the Living. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. I will be back with more content and reviews on Screen Stars very, very soon.